Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another WDD Live. When the stream starts, go ahead and say hi in the chat. I've actually got a lot of people here already, which is fantastic. We've got Ghislaine from France. Ghislaine, maybe? Ghislaine, Daniel, William, Charlie. Didn't know you were sick and still on vacation. Thought maybe you had forgotten us. No. I never forget you. This is my favorite place to hang out. But yes, I was while I was traveling, I was at WordCamp US in DC, and then the nice people at WordCamp US gave me the vid. They gave me the vid, just a little touch of the vid. It's all right. It's better now though. We got an Amazon Music error notice coming up. Manny's here, Philip's here, David's here, Jaroslav's here, Tony's here. A lot of familiar faces. Thank you guys for tuning in. Sarah's here. Hello from New Hampshire, where summer has seemingly just started. Amanda's here. Derek's here. All right. Excellent. We've got two websites. Agenda for today. We've got two websites to critique, and then we're going to do a bunch of Q&A, AMA stuff. I got to set a timer for, we don't want that alarm to go off again. Hey, Siri, set an alarm for 90 minutes from now. I never know how to talk to Siri. Okay, it actually did it. I was like, do I set a timer? Do I set an alarm? What do I tell her to do? She figured that one out. It's 50-50. It's 50-50 whether she's going to do what I actually want her to do. All right, so I got to cut this off at 90 minutes. We're not going to go crazy today. We're not going to marathon it today. We're going to do two website critiques, Q&A, AMA. I don't really have any announcements. Frames for Figma launch went absolutely fantastic. We crushed our goal by about 50%. And we've got a lot of great stuff planned for that. And that's it. We just need to dive right into it today. So I have website number one about to come up on the screen. If I can get the controls correct. Here we go. Okay, we've got CarWave Madeira. CarWaveMadeira.com. And this looks like a rent-a-car site. At least that's what the little tagline here says. We're going to do our no-scroll test first. Remember, WDD Live, what we do is in-depth web design critiques. So we're not just going surface level. We're going to look at a lot of different stuff. Copy, design, UX, SEO, the underlying code. We'll take a look at the DOM in some cases. Make sure everything's accessible. We look at as much as possible. Everything that makes a website successful, that's what we try to look at, okay? My Siri heard you and set the alarm. My fault. Okay, no scroll test. It says, your key to Madeira. Discover the wonders of Madeira Island. I don't even know where Madeira is. I don't even know where this place is. I'm going to go on my other screen here. Where is Madeira? Madeira, an archipelago situated in the North Atlantic Ocean. Oh, it's a region of Portugal, it looks like. Okay, interesting. Okay, discover the wonders of Madeira Island with CarWave, your trusted partner for the ultimate car rental experience. You can book now, or you can view our fleet. We also have this little just booking form right over here. So let's see if we can throw in a pickup date here. Let's go with, I'd like to pick up on the 28th, 9 o'clock, I guess is fine. Return date, how about October 2nd? And return time of noon, okay. Pickup, CarWave office, hotel inside, Funchal. How about the Madeira airport? Return location, okay, all right. I wonder if this is WS form right here. Let's check availability and see what happens. All right, we get taken to a book now page. All right, we're on step 2. So we've got dates at step 1. What happens if I go backwards? Okay, goes back to the form. Flight arrival day. There's extra fields here that I did not fill out on the main form though. I wonder if is it meant to skip this? I don't know. That would be a question I would have for them. Was I meant to go to step 2 after filling out? Because there are fields in step 1 that I have now skipped by starting the form in the hero section of page 1. And actually, dates, are these the dates I chose? Yeah, I guess they are. Okay, it passed those on correctly. I thought I chose a different return location, but maybe not. Okay, but there's definitely some fields that I was not asked to fill out. So if this is your site, I would maybe take a second look at that. Okay, but I do have some available vehicles here. We do have some issues with these dots. I cannot use those. I cannot click. Oh dear. If I keyboard navigate, we're now missing a vehicle. We've lost Class B. The Hyundai Bayon is gone. Okay. Something else. Oh dear. Yeah, a little technical issue here with this little gallery over here. Okay, but all this layout is looking really good here for the most part. It's nice and clean. You can see all the features of the vehicles. You can make your choice. Let's see what happens if I make a choice here. So we're gonna go with the Skoda Scala. I've never even heard of these cars before. Toyota Corolla. That I've heard of. Okay, let's rent this one. So we're gonna choose that car. All right. So it's taking me to features now, which is odd because now it's back to like pickup details. It's a little bit odd. I could see a lot of work has gone into this, but it's a little odd. Is everybody with me? It's a little odd that now I'm on features and it's back to like, what are your pickup details? Because these fields were on step number 1 with the dates. But now I'm going to come down, protections and coverages. It's got my car over here that I chose, which is pretty cool. I can add extras, like we can add a baby seat. We can add a booster seat. Okay, this is it's a pretty advanced form. We're going to go ahead and hit next step here. And now it wants my driver's license number and all my information. I'm not going to put all that stuff in. Don't worry, I'm not going to submit the form. Let's go next. Well, dude, okay. Oh, before today. All right, so let's go here. Yeah, minimum age for driver is 19. Okay, that makes sense. So let's go into, what's the quickest way to do this? Get me down here somewhere. All right, 1970. I don't know. Next step. All right, are we on the final step yet? All right, we're on confirmation. Okay, this is still broken right here. Go down, 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 down. This all looks good. All right, I'm not going to confirm. Little technical stuff there to work out, but overall, I would like to know, I don't know if there's any easy way to tell if this was done with WS Form or not. You have some console errors here. Something else to look at, perhaps. Okay. Call MD car rental 2-step image. I think these are used by WS Form. Form post action. Yeah, I don't know if there's any WS Form specific classes that are ever in these forms. I'd be interested to know though, if you're here in the stream, if this is your website, I would like to know what you used for the form. Oh, Pedro's here. Oh, he's good. Okay, I'm pulling up the chat. Okay, so Pedro says, damn, this one is mine from my agency. Madeira is in Portugal. Okay. You can add those extra fields on another step on the front. We're using an external booking system. Most of those things we can't control. HQ rental. Okay. I'm wondering if you could do this with, this be interesting if you could recreate this with WS Form. That would be a project. That would be a little bit of a project. Maybe something for the inner circle. Okay, let's go back to the home page. We got lost. I wanted to, it was in the no scroll test. There was a form right there. It was inviting us to fill it out. We went that direction just to see what would happen. Now we're back. We're back on the home page. Okay, so no scroll test. I know exactly what's going on here. I'm not so sure that this is the best H1. Yeah, I would like to see maybe some other options here. Because by itself, it doesn't really tell us anything. It doesn't have a lot of impact, at least for me. It's not awful, but it's not the best. I believe that if we put our brains together, we could come up with 2 or 3 way better options for an H1 in the hero here. I do like this lead paragraph, though. That lead paragraph is good. And then I like the 2 options. Of course, book now. It's kind of like the same call to action twice. Like I have the form, but it's okay. There's nothing else more relevant that I would think you could put here other than this form to help people get started with their booking. So I'm down with it. I would like to see maybe a little bit more spacing here, just from a general design perspective. I feel like these are a little close together, but everything else is very clean. It's a good shot of the island back here, though it's a little bit boring. It's a little bit like literally all I see are trees and clouds, some mountains. I don't know if there's some great shot that could include some water. I mean, it's an island, right? So just maybe get a little bit more dynamic of a background photo back here without it being distracting. But maybe just give me a little bit more than am I going to see more than just trees when I go to this place? Because that's all I'm seeing right now is clouds and trees. That's it. So if there's, maybe a more spectacular-esque shot that we could put in for our hero background image, that would be a good option. All right, so we're scrolling down now. We've got a sticky header. I do like the fact that it's a simple navigation. There's no drop-downs. There's no mega menus going on. I mean, you could have easily seen stuff like this, try to be put into a mega menu. A lot of people, I think, would try to do that. I like the fact that the navigation has been kept nice and simple. Okay, so our fleet. Find your perfect ride among our outstanding selection of vehicles tailored to make your Madeira Island adventure extraordinary. We have a very nice slider. I really like how the cars are sitting on these little yellow platforms. They're giving the yellow circle gives the car something to be attached to. So these cars are not just floating in space. This is really well done. I like the slider controls. Of course, we do need to see if this is accessible. And I can keyboard navigate that. So I can go backwards. I can go forwards. All is well in the world. Okay. So we're passing a lot of tests so far. A lot of tests that other sites don't pass. We're passing these. This is good. We have some feature blocks here. VAT included, insurance included, no credit card, unlimited mileage, 24-hour assistance, free delivery within Funchal City. Is this how we pronounce it? I don't know. Let me know. I like these features. I mean, if you just read the headline, you don't even need to read the supporting text that goes with them. I mean, these all sound like very important things if I was renting a car, right? I like that the VAT's included, that the insurance is included, that I don't need a credit card, that I get unlimited miles, the 24-hour assistance. This is all good. Then we scroll down. Fueled by love, a family legacy on wheels, our passion for cars and our family values drives us to provide memorable experiences and personalized care. Join us on this journey and experience the car wave difference where family heritage meets exceptional car rentals. Okay, this is it's very friendly copy. It's feels very personal. It feels very islandy, not like some giant corporation. This is interesting. This is an interesting little. Oh, I get it. Okay, I get it. Hey, hats off to this designer, whoever the designer is. Are we all getting this? We all understanding? This is the W. This is the W for CarWave right here. So this is a very unique. This is like tying the branding into the general layouts. Like a lot of people might see a yellow box with 3 small images here and then a random small image down here. But it is the W from CarWave, which this actually, I see the cutout W, but I'm looking at your favicon up here, and it's much more distinctive when there's 2 prominent colors. The W is much more distinctive. It gets a little lost when the W is the same color as the background, in my opinion. You might want a logo variation where, like, I would love to see the yellow coming through here. At least show me that as a variation, and then I can tie these things in even easier. Is anybody else feeling that? Are you feeling like you You lose the W when it's the same color as the background. But this is fantastic. This is fantastic. I mean, you could slap just a photo collage there or whatever, or even a single photo. But taking the time to create a layout like this. That, by the way, this can be used all throughout the website in various different areas, and it really helps tie things together and make a cohesive brand experience. Okay, let's keep going. So we've got some feedback here. Some cards, pretty good, nice and clean. The only thing I will say is I really don't like, if the majority of your testimonials don't have headshots, then just take out the avatars. Because having the blank avatar doesn't, I don't know. It kind of takes away from it. It makes the testimonials feel more anonymous rather than from like real people. I mean, you have the real names, but if you don't have the photos, just get rid of the avatar. It's going to make it a little cleaner too. It feels very repetitive now because it's just like this blank avatar over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, let's go down. All right, we got a little overlap action here. Madeira Guide by Carwave, a selection of our favorite places on the island, viewpoints, bars, and restaurants. This is really good. This is fantastic, where we'll talk about this in a minute, especially for like SEO potential. We'll come here and take a look at that section in just a minute. All right, we got a panoramic view. View our fleet in 360. This is interesting. Okay. I'm surprised. I want to know, I mean, you don't have to share this publicly, but I would like to know the budget of this website, because there's a lot going on here. And just to me, I would think, I don't know the size of this island, the population of this island. I don't know if this is the only car rental company on the island. This is very interesting. This is probably a third-party service. Yeah. I would like to know, like, to me, it seems like a company like this wouldn't be able, like, if it would be a small company, it feels like they wouldn't be able to afford kind of all the things that are going on here. Because a lot has been put into this site, you can tell, right? Carwave Spotify, get your tunes on with Carwave. Experience the ultimate road trip vibes with our specially curated playlists. Wow, I mean they've thought of everything. Okay. Let's go down. Gas stations available on Madeira. Oh, this has got to be a very large island. That's a lot of gas stations. Fairly large, anyway. Okay, our team has created an interactive map with all the gas stations. Let's view this map. These are all on on different domains, though. So I'm just curious to know how all this stuff was put together. I would almost like to see this. I mean, I feel like this section in particular definitely could have been done with CPTs. And like if you do keep all this stuff on the domain, there is a lot of SEO potential here, right? Because if you think about, like, yes, you're a car rental company, but you're a unique car rental company on this island where you also have the potential to rank for a lot of other stuff on the island, right? You can do a ton of content marketing related stuff. And then if you have gas stations directory on the island, which makes sense because you're a car rental company. And then you have like local places to visit, maybe reviews of the different sites that people might want to see. You're bringing in a lot. You have the potential to bring in a lot of visitors through content marketing. Like they're looking for places to see on Madeira Island or whatever. And you're coming up constantly over and over and over again. And they're clicking, they're reading your articles. And then of course, when they're going to visit there, they need to rent a car. You're the number one choice, right? So that kind of content marketing is really, really powerful. But the fact that these things are kind of done, this one is done on your domain, which is good. The guide. Okay, this is good. But I feel like the gas station thing could also and should also be done on this domain. Right now, this sends people to a completely different website. And so I think you're missing out on some potential there. All right, so we've got this Madeira driving guide. Okay. Is this the same thing as the other thing that I was on? Or is this something different? Yeah, that's the same thing. Okay, we'll take a look at that in a second. Let's go down and check out the footer. All right. I like this. I like the let's pick a date. Got some translation going on. Did we miss anything? Let's do some FAQs. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Filterable, sortable. Let's see if these still work after we sort. Because I'm wondering, because there is a problem with, yeah, they do. Okay, so whose accordions are these? Yes, the Frames accordion. Oh, this is a Frames site. Okay, so we're built with Frames. Would you guys have known just by looking at this website that it was built with Frames? An automatic CSS? You would not. You would not know. Look, it's very custom. But it just goes to show you, right? It's like, it's exactly what we say all the time. It's not some like generically designed template pack that everybody uses and every site looks the same. It's a starting point for doing whatever you want, and it does a lot of work for you. Pedro, if you want to talk about your Frames experience at all in the chat, that would be good. Would love to hear what you had as your experience. But this is important. Like, this is a Frames accordion. The Bricks accordion, I don't know, and I'm not sure about the other accordions from some other third-party packs, but some of them have had issues where I know we had to do a bunch of extra work to get them to work with WP Grid Builder facets. A lot of them, once you facetize them, they break. But this one, the Frames one, does not. So this is good. This is really good. All right. So I wanted to look at the Madeira guide and see what's going on here. I really like this full screen layout. Let's go ahead and click on one of these things and see what we've got going on. Okay. I can't read any of this, but, okay. Church in Funchal. All right. Got a little description and then the gas station map. It looks like this is just part of your see, I really don't like the fact that that takes me in another tab to a third-party website. If you guys go the extra mile, I would say get this gas station map thing and we actually have a perfect frame for doing that, honestly. Let's go to, what frame is it? I think I've shown it on here before. Bricks templates. Let's go to, is it called a location? No, I think it's called a contact frame. I think it's one of the contact frame. There it is right there. Contact section, Foxtrot. So this would actually give you you could put the island in here very easily. All these dots become your gas stations. These are all controlled by CPT. Get a little slider here. This would be a perfect frame, I think, for bringing that gas station finder in-house. There it is right there for you. You just bang, click, add, design it up. You're good to go. Okay. I think in order to leverage content marketing using these like places to see on the island, you're going to need more than this content right here. I would almost get like full-blown blog posts written about each of these places on the island that people are going to want to visit, and you can legit rank for these places. And then that's going to bring in the traffic. Obviously, people who are wanting to visit the island. Obviously, when they come to the island, they're going to need to rent a car. You're going to be top of mind, okay? So I think you're missing an opportunity by just having very thin content here for the sites to see on the island. Turn this into a full-blown, like, you called it a guide, right? It's a guide. Make it a full-blown guide. Right now, it's just like places with little descriptions. Go all out. Make it a full-blown guide, rank for these places, and bring in that traffic. Okay, let's see. So Pedro says, working with Frames and ACSS together, I mean, what can I say? It's just so easy and fast to build a website with these combined. Thank you very much for developing such amazing tools. Thank you for using them. Thank you for using them, for sure. Okay, anybody else in the chat? I mean, what are everybody give your general thoughts. I've given my general thoughts. I think this is one of those examples where they've really knocked it out of the park. We don't really have to spend a lot of time looking at the DOM. I mean, now that we know it's a Frames site, it's going to be clean DOM this stuff is going to be, for the most part, unless you break the accessibility, it's already been made to be accessible, all of these things that are added. So, we don't have to do a huge deep dive like we typically do. I did want to talk a little bit about that SEO side of things, leveraging the content marketing to bring in traffic. All of the pieces of the puzzle are here. There's no reason this site is not going to be successful. So this is a really good one. Drop your thoughts. Great site. Love it. It just works. Philip says something about span classes and opening in a new window. I'm not sure what that is. Derek says awesome site. I can tell from a mile away it's frames built. All right. So what gave it away to you? I mean, because I built frames. I couldn't tell from a mile away that it was a frame site. But go ahead and let me know what gave it away for you. French might be another great language to add to your site. Portugal is becoming a very trendy place to travel to here in Montreal. How is the R Fleet slider made? Let's go up and find that. I believe you're talking about this one, right? So, I mean, this is, I don't know if they use the frames slider for this. There is a frames slider component. But you could easily do this with the frames slider component. I mean, each one of these is more or less just a card. And then we have a slider controls element that you drop in, and then you just customize the slider controls, and you're going to achieve this pretty quickly. Really, what looks fancy about it is the fact that it's good imagery. It's really good imagery with, and if you look at this, this is all one image, which, we could talk about that for a second here. So here is actually it's not, this is really good. Okay, let's take a look at this a little bit closer. So I'm going to grab the URL here and I'm going to open, that is the image. Yeah. Okay. So see this after pseudo element right here? And look at this. I mean, we've got locally scoped variables. I mean, this man, I think this man has been studying. Okay. I was going to say 99% of people would do is they would create these in Photoshop and they would have this, what we'll call the floor, because that's been called the floor here in the locally scoped variables. The floor would be added in Photoshop. And I would say that's a no-no, something to avoid, because if the color of the brand, this main brand color ever needs to change, well, my friend, you better have saved the source file for whatever you were doing in here in Photoshop or Figma or wherever, so that you can go in and manually change all these again, then re-export all the images, then re-upload all the images, then replace all the images. Don't forget to make sure all the image names are exactly the same. And oh my God, what a mess. What an absolute mess. That's not the life you want to live. That is absolute chump life, okay? What you want to do is you want to use a pseudo element, and that's exactly what's been done here. So we see an absolutely positioned pseudo element. We've got the bottom is attached to a locally scoped variable called space bottom. The height of it is controlled by floor height, the width, and then we're probably going to see a transform. Yeah, you have a perspective transform to flatten that circle out. Basically, take a circle and you're flattening it out and you're changing its perspective, and then you're positioning it underneath the car. This is what when we talk about like professional work, this is what I look for. This is what we look for, okay? This is why all the tutorials exist. This is exactly like, and you see everything controlled by locally scoped variables, so it's all very scalable and maintainable. Take notes. Take notes. This is what we're looking for. This is what we want to see. You don't see this very often. It's so rare to see, okay? And so we got to celebrate it when we see it. Hats off to Pedro. This is very, very well done. Okay, fill wireframe step. Also, without the headshot filled in, you can generate random color with initial name for avatar. Yeah, you could do that. That is a potential as well. So what that means is down here in the grid, I don't even remember where they were. Let's go to the reviews page. Okay, So you can have the circle here and you can use conditional logic. So it's like if there's an avatar, show the avatar. If there's no avatar, take the first letter of the name, put it right here, and make a solid background color for the block. You can even randomize the colors. Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff there. Any other good comments? I'm just searching our comments thread here. Which talk are you using on the blog page? The active highlight works. I have problems with the frames talk. Let's go to, I didn't even see it. Oh yeah, here's the blog. Let's check that out. Okay. Good here. Yeah, this is a blog template straight out of Frames, it looks like. That's probably the Frames table of contents element as well. I think your previous article, next article section could be, I would just probably make that content width. It looks a little odd, that big. Then you have your related articles there. Yeah, I mean, this is good stuff. Have we seen the Fleet archive and page? Yes. Let's see. Go to our Fleet. Oh, no, we didn't see this. Okay. We did the Explore the Fleet in 360. We click on a car. What do we get? Okay. Here we go. Yeah, we did not see this. Okay. Class features, do's and don'ts. Okay. Good. Just a good solid use of custom post types and templates for all of these. See, book now. So one question I have, let's see, right? What did I just choose? Class B Hyundai Bayon. All right, so we're gonna book now, and I want to see if my Hyundai Bayon is chosen. See, that's where I would really like to see. We can add more like dynamic intelligence to. Now, if it's WS Form, 100% you can do that. If we built this with WS Form, 100% when they click on that car right there. They select this car right here. They go to the form. The car's already selected in the form. Now, you may not be able to do that because it's a third-party form that maybe you just embedded here and you're very limited on how you can hook into it. But if we were able to recreate this with WS Form, 100%, we can have that car auto-selected after they select it on the other page. Bottom of our Fleet page, broken pseudo element under car. Okay. Beautiful site, and for me, doesn't matter if it was made with frames or not, using pseudo elements for locally scoped variables. Good job. Pedro says it is selected. It's not available on that. Oh, like on these dates that I chose, it's not available or something. I don't know. I think your comment got a little cut off. Okay, I really like the red percentage on the top of page button. Very nice touch. I don't know what page that was on. Maybe the blog post. Oh, yeah, that bar that goes across the top there. I'm an avid ACSS student. Been improving my output a lot lately, mostly by watching your content. Thanks for that. Yeah, I mean, this is it's paying off for sure. This is fantastic. Okay. I think we've done enough on this site. We can go ahead. What are we? Yeah, we're 35 minutes in. That's about a 30-minute review. Oops, I do not want to zoom in our browser. Okay, let's bring in site number 2. If you see the top vehicle selected is the one chosen. Okay. Let me go back and try it one more time. Let's see. Hyundai Bayon, book now. Vehicles. Oh, right here. I see it there. Okay. Selected vehicle class. It kind of looks, at first glance, it looks like this is all one table. I see now that this is a section of this table that's for selected vehicles. It's like if the person doesn't read everything, if they're just kind of glancing and skimming, this kind of just goes to show like the, UX design, right? You could make this more prominent. Like I would make this a solid colored box. So if this was solid colored, to my brain at instant glance, it would be like, oh, that's this is my selected vehicle, right? Like take your action color, ultralight, action ultralight background, that box, and it's immediately going to tell everybody's brain that's a selected vehicle. And then everything else under here is, just another, you could switch the vehicle or something like that. Okay. All right. That's enough of that. Let's bring that out. So very, very well done here. Let's bring in our next website. This is DouglasEasyLube.com. Douglas Easy Lube, your hassle-free mobile oil change. Let me get this off my other screen. Let me bring up I want to be able to see our comments again. Okay. We provide mobile oil change service that comes to you. Serving Douglas County, Colorado, and surrounding areas. So, my first question would be, why is this so small, right? Put the relevant, because this is a very localized business. So when it's very localized, that I would put that, like, especially for SEO purposes as well. Here's your H1. Drop those keywords. And your location in a hyper-local business is a keyword, right? Drop these keywords in this H1 up here. So mobile oil change. And I also see like mobile oil change is the target keyword here, but that's really probably not the best target keyword. Like there's probably like mobile oil change service is probably the keyword that if I would just had to guess off the top of my head. But the word service is not in that H1 anywhere. And then your location is not in the H1 anywhere. So the mobile oil change in Douglas County, and I don't even know, it says Douglas County, right? A lot of clients will tell you, well, we serve Douglas County for the most part, but that's not how people search for the most part. Most people search by the city names that they're near, right? How many cities are in Douglas County? I don't know, but there's probably more than one. And if there's a major city in Douglas County, then for sure people are using the city names to search. So we need the primary city name in this H1 up here. We probably need the word service in here somewhere if we did our SEO research. I mean, we can drop this in here. We could take a little side quest into Ahrefs here. Let's go to Keywords Explorer. Let's bring this in here. So what I would do is mobile oil change, and then First thing I would do is oil change, and I would just do this very generic, okay? I would go into matching terms. So I want to know oil change, and I'm going to go into the include right here, and I'm going to say near. I'm just going to say near me first to start out with, okay? I want to see all the near me variations that contain the word oil change, because this is going to give me tons and tons and tons of ideas and a general understanding of how people are searching for oil changes near them. Now, in a minute, we're going to bring in the mobilized, like the we come to you kind of keywords. But for now, just doing general discovery on how people search for oil changes. And so you see cheap oil change near me. You see quick oil change near me. Oil change places. Then there's some brand specific ones like Walmart. There's synthetic oil change near me. Now, I would be flagging these. And if you've done any of my SEO trainings inside of the Inner Circle, if you haven't, if you're not in the Inner Circle, I mean, if you're interested in SEO, there's a lot of gold in the SEO trainings in the Inner Circle. But this is what I would start to do. I would start to flag these, okay? I want to mention, especially if you're inexpensive, okay? Now, mobile oil change, probably more expensive than typical oil changes. So, you might not fit into this bucket, but quick, right? Quick may be a good one to go after. Let's keep going. So synthetic, we may need to make a separate page for synthetic oil change as a service, right? We look at this website right here. I'm not seeing any navigation of any kind. Immediately I'm being alerted to this is a one-page website, most likely, which automatically is not going to do well for SEO. I don't know if this website is finished. I don't know if this is all they could afford. There's a lot of factors that we just don't know the answers to. But we do know that there's not a lot of hope for this website in its current state, right? In terms of SEO. Like oil change, as you can see here, we're going to go back to, and we'll do mobile in just a second, but I mean, there's some strong competition in a lot of these primary keywords. Very difficult to rank. The fact that we're going to try to rank this with a single page website, especially when we look at this. So I'm going to bring up another tab here. We're going to go to Site Explorer. We're going to put in the domain, and we're going to see that we have no authority. We have zero authority whatsoever, right? Google barely knows this website exists. This domain exists. There's one referring domain. It ranks for one total keyword. Let's see what it is. Easy Lube Oil Change, which is Douglas Easy Lube. It's like part of the brand name, okay? So not much relevance there. We need a more robust site is what I'm getting at. Anytime a client is like, SEO is important to us, immediately, robust website. We need multiple service pages. We need service area pages. We need, like, if we really want to go after this, if we want to be aggressive. Now, they might say, hey, we don't have the budget for that. Okay, we'll start with a one-page website. We'll do some PPC, right? We'll get some PPC ads going because we can, one-page website combined with PPC can absolutely get the job done. It's not going to get the job done for SEO, but it can get the job done with PPC. Then we'll get you rolling. We'll get you some customers. We'll get you some growth. Then what I want you to do is I want you to reinvest some of that money that you're making back into the site so that we can make a more robust website and really get you ranking organically, okay? And that's kind of the pathway to go about that. That's the approach that I take. One-page website with PPC for the low-budget clients. Get them going, get them some traffic, get them some results, and then start to build the site out slowly going forwards after that. Okay, let's keep looking at some of these keywords here. And what are you looking for with these keywords, by the way? Okay, we're looking for traffic potential. Yeah, I don't care about the volume. For a hyper-local business like this, volume is of almost no interest to me. I do want to see traffic potential. I do want to see, because traffic potential also helps me understand the clusters of keywords that we're looking at. See how the volume for oil change coupons is only 6.8 thousand, but the traffic potential is 80,000. That lets me know that when I rank for oil change coupons, for example, which that's not really a relevant term for this particular website, but it's a good example of volume versus traffic potential. It's letting me know that there's a cluster of keywords that you're almost certainly going to rank for. You're not just going to rank for one keyword when you rank for this. And look at the parent topic is oil change near me. So that's letting you know that there's a lot more potential in that keyword than what the basic volume is alerting you to. But I'm also looking for what is the cost per click on average of this keyword, right? If you see like 0 or like a very low cost per click, it's letting you know there's not a lot of commercial relevance there for that keyword. People aren't bidding on it. If they're not bidding on it, it's probably because they're not getting results when they do bid on it. But if there's a high cost per click for these keywords, it lets you know advertisers are bidding on this keyword, and they're probably continuing to bid on this keyword because it's doing well for them. So this CPC column, even if you're not running PPC ads, right? If you're just doing SEO, you're not doing PPC, you should still pay attention to what advertisers are paying for these keywords because that alerts you to the commercial relevance of the keywords. So that's just kind of stuff I'm keeping my eye on as I go down. But you're looking for variations on these keywords like Jeep oil change. Maybe Jeep, I don't even know, like I'm not a mechanic, but maybe Jeep, it needs a special oil change process or a special kind of oil or like, I don't know, some special expertise. And then my question back to the client is, do you change oil on Jeeps? Oh yeah, we absolutely do. Okay, well, let's get a page going for that. Let's get a page going for that we can rank for. This is an opportunity that a lot of people, if they didn't do the SEO research, would not find and then would not create the page for and then thus would not rank for. But by doing the research, we can find these opportunities, create these pages, and then rank. Same thing with Toyota oil change. So what this is alerting me to, when I see BMW and I see Honda and I see Jeep and I see Toyota, I see all these brand names used in the searches. That lets me know, hey, we probably are going to need a CPT for all the types of cars that you service, right? And then we're going to create an oil change, a Toyota oil change, a Honda oil change page. All of these are going to get created, and we're going to go after these terms. And again, that makes the site more robust, right? So now we have a services CPT. We have a cars CPT that we're going to be working with. We're going to have a service areas CPT. See how the website has grown from the client. The client may tell you all we need is one page. We just need a simple site. That's all we need. Well, no, sir. if you have actual goals and you want to dominate your local area in terms of SEO, we're going to need to do a little more than one page, okay? By the way, if a client ever says, we just need a simple one-page site, all that translates to is we don't have a lot of money. That's all that translates to. So start to educate them on what they actually need. And then if they can't afford it, which they probably can't because that's why they said they only need a one-page website because they're broke, okay? Educate them on a phase-based approach to web design where we're going to start you small, one page. We're going to give you exactly what you're asking for. But if you really want to get results, we've got to build on that at some point. And so be ready to build on that. And in the meantime, we want you to spend some money on PPC because this website, if we just build you a one-page website and we don't do anything else with it, just being honest, it's going to sit there. It's going to do absolutely nothing. You might as well take the couple $1,000s, the few $1,000s you're going to pay us for that one-page website and light it on fire. Just do that. I mean, just save us all the time, right? Save yourself the time and the hassle. Save us the time and I want your few $1,000s, but you might as well just light it on fire because that's all that's going to happen, okay? We've got to get them investing in PPC. We've got to get them investing in SEO. We've got to drive traffic to the site somehow. Don't let them pay for a brochure website and then just let it sit there. Don't do that to them. Okay. Any questions while we're here? I'm going to go back to the site. Any questions while we're here about the SEO stuff? I'm going to look at the chat real quick. Chris is here. Welcome, Chris. We don't have many comments now. This is your chance to ask. I mean, I could come back to SEO later, I guess, but now is if you have some SEO questions related to some of this, now's your chance to ask. Go ahead and ask those in the chat. What I would do now is, assuming I continued pouring through all of this, right? I would come up here and now I would look for the mobile oil change and I would see again near me and I would see what we get with this kind of search, more specifics. Mobile oil change near me, mobile oil change service near me. Okay. This is very interesting. Look at this. This is what makes SEO a little bit more difficult. This word, M-O-B-I-L with no E, is a brand name, right? And it's saying that is the topic, the parent topic of what we thought our keyword is for. And so now what we have to do is we have to go to Google, mobile oil change. Now, I think Google is smart enough to understand what's going on here. And so we see an ad, we see another ad, mobile oil change, a mobile oil change service. Okay. So I think Ahrefs is actually incorrect here in what Ahrefs is claiming is the parent topic. Google has, according to the actual searches, well, no, there is the brand name right there. There is the brand. And they have an oil change near me search finder thing. And this is why I think there's a little bit of confusion here. However, it's really good news that we see two other brands that are unrelated that are actually doing the service that we're doing SEO for ahead of that. So that lets us know that Google's able to sort it out. It's getting the ranking part down. So we can go after that as a term, no problem. Mobile oil change business near me, not super relevant. We can use the word business sprinkled throughout the page. These kinds of things are related keywords that you can just sprinkle throughout a page. You don't have to create separate, like what a beginner might do, which would be a mistake, is create a page for mobile oil change business, create another page for mobile oil change service, create another page for mobile oil change. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just create a mobile oil change or mobile oil change service, one or the other. I honestly think Google is going to see both of these keywords as exactly the same thing. And then just sprinkle the word business in some places. I doubt you're 24 hours, but if you were, you would want to mention that somewhere. And then look how people are using this. They're attaching the cities, right? And that's what you're going to see over and over and over again. So that's why we need that city name in the H1. All right, let's see. Which Ahrefs plan do you use? I don't know. I selected it like forever ago, and I haven't changed it. It was when I selected it, it was the middle tier plan. I think they had 3 plans. I had the middle one. SEO is new to me. I guess I need to look through the Inner Circle SEO content. Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you're building websites for local businesses, if it's not a B2B thing, if it's B2C, almost certainly SEO is going to be a factor. There's a lot, even if you're not selling SEO. I mean, there's a lot you need to do to not screw up websites that you're working on, and that even if you're building from scratch, setting the architecture up properly. Knowing at least that much is really important. How often do you revisit the keyword relevance and adjust the site? We do the discovery once. We figure out what our target keywords are, and then we track those target keywords. And there are certain industries where it's just like the target keywords are never going to change, really. There's other industries where perhaps the nomenclature, okay, if we're pulling out academic words here, changes from time to time, maybe over the course of years. It's probably not over the course of months in 99% of cases. I'm trying to think of a relevant example, like the jiu-jitsu gym that I do. A few years back, the term Brazilian jiu-jitsu was like one of the most widely used terms for people looking for jiu-jitsu classes, because there's Japanese jiu-jitsu, which is not super popular, and there's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which is the most popular. And so a lot of searchers felt that they needed to distinguish between the two. So they would search for Brazilian jiu-jitsu a lot, Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes, Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym, blah, 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 blah. It was Brazilian jiu-jitsu everything. And actually that's changed over it very recently, whereas almost everybody just recognizes jiu-jitsu now as Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And so you don't need to use the word Brazilian nearly as much, if at all, right? Jiu-jitsu classes is way more dominant than Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes. And so you're actually going to miss out on a lot of traffic if you don't just drop the word Brazilian and just go after jiu-jitsu in general. And so that's like a change that we made. And that was a targeting strategy that we created 4 to 5 years ago, which now we decided we're going to switch that up a little bit. So it's not something you look at every single month or even every few months. It's something that may change over the course of years, but also may not. There's a lot of industries where it just doesn't change at all, and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's see. If we try to rank for quick oil change and have a blog post for how to do a quick oil change, should we adding that keyword to the homepage to prevent keyword cannibalization? That would not be so in order to answer that question, we have to talk about search intent, right? There's people who are looking for how to do a quick oil change. That is different from ranking for quick oil change, perhaps, right? We don't know the stats. You would have to think in your head, what would the majority of people looking for quick oil change want to see? Would the majority of people want to see instructions for doing a quick oil change? Or would the majority of people want to see a quick oil change service, like a place where I can get a quick oil change? If I had to guess, the majority of people want a quick oil change service. So if you create a blog post on how to do a quick oil change, you ain't going to rank for the quick oil change service people, right? Google is smart enough to know, oh, we're not showing them. If they put how to do a quick, now Google knows. You've given Google the context of you want the instructions, you want the tutorial. So what Google's going to immediately shift to is like if you have a video, they're going to show that. They're going to show videos for that search result. They're going to show all the blog posts for that search result. They're not going to show the local service businesses for the most part. I wouldn't think, right? If you put the words how to. Now, if you just write in Google, quick oil change, Google's probably going to show you a lot of local businesses for getting your oil change quickly. So hopefully that answers the question. To me, a lot of, now, there is the strategy of if I'm in a quick oil change place, like if I have a building where we do oil changes, I may also write a blog post on how to do a quick oil change. And I put all the steps and probably do a video, and the video is shot in our location, and now that's on our YouTube channel, and it actually links back. But what we're doing is we're basically teaching people how to do an oil change, and then also kind of saying, hey, if you don't want to do this work, right? You don't want to get messy. You don't want to do all this nonsense. Bring your car in, right? Here we are. And you can siphon off some traffic. Now, is that going to be a localized URL? Probably not. You're probably going to rank, if you do rank, you're probably going to rank nationally for that, right? So you're going to get a lot of traffic that doesn't really help you, but it is also going to help you in terms of authority on your website, in terms of Google knowing that you know what you're talking about. And then you can actually localize the video, and then the video links back to the site. That can help things out. So, it is a strategy that you could employ. I wouldn't say it's going to go gangbusters and knock anything out of the park, but hey, it's another angle that you can attack. More about the keyword cannibalization part. I don't know what else you want to talk about that. It was a one-man shop, so you can only cut so many lawns. Okay, I guess you guys are having a side conversation here. You can clearly see where the volume is there. Mark from WS Forum is here. Welcome, Mark. Okay. So I think we've done enough on the SEO side of things. Let's jump back. If anybody has more SEO related questions, happy to go back to it. And we can look at the site more as we go. I mean, we look up here in the title tag. So best mobile oil change in Douglas County, Colorado. Okay. Let's go down. You save valuable time, no upsell pressure at all, quality workmanship, transparency, priority. I'm not big on these cards right here because you save valuable time. See, this is an example where you go quick oil change, right? Like you have an opportunity here to use the keywords. So instead of saving value, which you save valuable time as a key, it doesn't mean anything to it does mean something to the viewer, right? But it doesn't mean anything to Google. It doesn't mean anything to SEO. And quick oil change, and maybe put in parentheses like less than 15 minutes or something like that. That still speaks perfectly well to the customer while also giving you an opportunity to use a keyword. No upsell pressure at all. I would translate this into like language that people are going to recognize. Like, what do people normally upsell at an oil change? I mean, I go get my oil change. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like they try to sell me a bunch of other stuff. So is this even a problem? Is this even, you don't want a talking point that people feel is not a problem in the first place. So we would need to verify that this is a problem and then find a better way to word it. I'm not sure that that's the best icon to go with this either. Maybe like a money icon would be better to go with here, right? Quality workmanship. I mean, let's be honest. Everybody's going to say that. And then, don't say quality workmanship. Like, we've got another opportunity to use an oil change related keyword here. We might as well use that opportunity. So this kind of just feels very generic. Transparency, priority, again, doesn't really say anything. Like, I don't know. I never go to an oil change place. It's kind of like hitting on a thing that's not an actual problem. Like, do you ever go to an oil change place and you're like, oh, I feel like they're hiding something from me. I really wish there was more transparency in this oil change place. I don't know what transparency really means here. And transparency priority is not an actual sentence. So we just need better copy across these featured cards right here. Why is it that oil changes are universally disliked? Are they? Are they universally disliked? I mean, I go to the oil change place, I pull into the bay, they change my oil, I pay, I leave. I'm never like, God, these fucking oil change places are just like, I don't know, what's the problem? I didn't know. It almost feels like we're creating, like, in copywriting, it's like we're told to define a problem and then solve the problem. And I guarantee there's problems with oil change stuff that we could harp on, but like, I don't think that they're universally disliked. If the copy just kind of makes this bogus claim, it ruins all of the copy. Okay, you've got to make sure your copy speaks to things that people actually feel and believe. And I'm not convinced that people actually, let's just do a vote in the chat. Do you universally dislike oil change places? Let's take a quick vote. Put yes or no in the chat. Like, is there some vendetta that we all have against oil change places? If it was a used car lot, see, they have like a reputation, right? That I guess a used car lot could be universally disliked. I've never heard this about oil change places. I didn't realize there's an epidemic of horrible oil change places that we all need to stay away from. We check your fluids and perform a safety check, including lights, brakes, seat. Yes, so now we're telling people what we do as part of our process. We're using actual terms that people will recognize. Oh yeah, I do want my fluids checked. I do want to perform a safety check. That sounds fantastic. I do want to check my brakes and do a quick tire inspection. That all is good. To be honest, for me, the oil change is the only part I do myself. Okay? An oil change place killed my dog once. Just kidding. Okay. Yeah. See, I think we're kind of creating maybe a problem in our imagination here and then writing copy around it. And then that's just not going to connect with the average visitor. This is a headline. It's not good. I don't like these headlines that don't actually say anything. They it's like, I'm forcing them to read the bullets, but I don't know. It's not great copy here. Nobody likes to waste a long time in an unpleasant waiting room. Be pushed into unnecessary upsells, find out later that the drain plug wasn't tight enough. I mean, I know this happens from time to time, but again, it's not like there's an epidemic of people driving away from oil change places and just oil dripping all over the road and their car falling apart or, 99 times out of 100, probably even more than that, they're going to go get an oil change and everything is going to be perfectly fine. We're talking about a commodity service, right? This is a commodity service. Almost anybody can do it. It's just harp on the things that are actually true. The actual true thing is you don't want to have to jack up your car and get underneath it and get messy and do all this stuff. Just come in. We're close to you. We're convenient. We're a good price. We're not going to fuck up your car and it's all going to be good. Like, you don't have to manufacture all of this. Hey, oil change places are universally hated. And your drain plug isn't going to be on if you go to most places around here. It's just, it's not going to happen. Call or text. What happens if I click this? Okay. It opens. Schedule your oil change. What happens if I click that? Ooh, off to a third-party, unbranded booking website. Not the best experience. I really am a fan of keeping branded experiences, right? Even if you're forced to use a third-party form of some kind. Once again, we could use WS Form for this. We could use WS Form to easily create a booking form, I think. It's taking them to this blank page that's like, we've lost all, like, not even, oh, here's the logo right here. Hey, Bev is coming out of the woodwork here now. Bev, she's running down the hall right now, screaming at the top of her lungs to make that logo bigger, guaranteed. And she actually has a case. Bev has a case right now. That is the tiniest logo I've ever seen. Yeah, this is just, it's kind of like we just lost all of the experience. Let's see. Does the employee actually matter here? There's a lot going on here. It's like, I can't change my service. So it's like, I don't know. All right. It's a booking form, whatever, but it's unbranded. At least I can go back. I can hit the back button. That's good. Let's see what other people are saying here. I heard they steal all the parts out of your car when you're not looking. I didn't know oil change places exist. We do this by ourselves or in a car service. Interesting. I'm weary of maintenance shops in general due to scams, but I don't dislike companies I know I can trust. But is it like I understand mechanics, right? There's a lot of general mechanics. You're like, I really need a trustworthy mechanic. But like an oil change place, it's just an oil change, The guy in the image looks to be happily relaxing. Yeah, he does, right? Yeah, this is a fantastic point that Richard has hit on right here. We're talking about the supposed awful things that go on in oil change places, and this guy is just loving it. He is absolutely loving his long time in an unpleasant waiting room. By the way, not a very unpleasant looking waiting room. I mean, we've got a leather sofa that looks to be at a great recline angle, reading material on the, we got wood floors. This is one of the best. Glass where I can actually see them working on my car. This is the best oil change waiting room I've seen in a long time, but we've placed it right next to all of the talk about horrific things happening at oil change places. So there's a little bit of a, yeah. This is an area where I would talk about if this is the actual waiting room, okay? If this isn't just a stock photo, I'm guessing this is a stock photo. But if you did have a waiting room like this, you would want to set it right next to, just talk yourself up. You don't have to make believe that all these oil change places are absolute trash. Just talk about why yours is the best one and put it right next to the photo where people can see that it's the best one. That would do a much better job here. All right. Let's see. Can you sync WS form booking with an existing calendar? So yeah, Mark is in the chat. He'll jump in and answer your WS form questions. Philip says, just joined. What's happening here? Website feedback. Yes, Philip, that's what we do every single Wednesday. It's called WDD Live. We do in-depth website critiques and reviews. And we've got about 20 minutes left, so I'm going to jump into AMA, which stands for, I say AMA a lot. People are like, what does that even mean? It just means ask me anything. You can ask on any of these topics. All questions are fair game. Let's just finish this off real quick. We got a spacing issue right here. We got a spacing issue right here, just general UX, UI stuff to fix up. I feel like all of this copy kind of has to be reworked. Again, go in the inner circle, grab the training, there's a whole masterclass and a workbook on all the stuff you need to do to get your copy right. With these testimonial cards, one, we don't want to see blurry images, obviously. These look like stock photos right here. All three of those are 100% stock photos. Don't use stock photos and testimonials. Don't use pixelated stock photos and testimonials. And then this text is too small for the size of these images. So just general UI, UX stuff that we can improve here. We got a timeline for the process. I'm not a fan of timelines for 3-step processes. Timelines are for longer content. If it's just a simple process, 1, 2, 3, use cards or something like that for this. And then we have FAQs, which I'm not big on the boxed layout underneath the toggle here. But it's, pretty standard little FAQ. Well, see, I would take this content right here and put it next to this and then make it sticky. It's a better layout, right? You've kind of just got this giant column of content going on here. Okay, your priority is what matters to us. This obviously, I don't know what this photo has to do with oil changes. I mean, the answer is absolutely nothing. It has absolutely nothing to do with oil changes. So I think a lot to improve here. Then we have a pixelated. This is the oil change shop that looks like a typical oil change shop, but super pixelated here on a large screen. That's not going to sell anybody right here. This one's not. Sales are dropping off as we go down the page. Here's your conversion rate was higher up here. This was kind of the best part of the page. But again, all the copy needs to be reworked. And then slowly we're just going to start losing people here. And then we get to the bottom. Okay. Let's go ahead and close that up. I'll leave this stuff up right now, and we'll just do AMA. So you can ask anything on business, pricing, SEO, PPC, web design, frames, automatic CSS, bricks, Oxygen, Gutenberg, WordCamp, whatever you guys want to talk about. I've got 20 minutes. We have a hard stop at that time. All right, let's look at the chat. Every industry has cowboys. You don't need to tell everybody why you're not one. This is true. Yeah, you really want to go after the you want to create like an us versus them. You want to create like a tribal kind of situation, if there's common problems that people can identify, if there's not common problems and you're just like manufacturing nonsense drama, then that's not the way to go. If there's real stuff to harp on, then by all means, harp on it. But again, we're talking oil change places. It's like, this is not a common thing, okay? The average oil change place is not our enemy, so we don't have to get the pitchforks out against them. Okay, is it testimonies? Shouldn't that be testimonials? Yes. Yes, 100%. Okay, what did Mark say up here about booking forms? Let's go up here. WS form availability. We have our integration with calendars and our date field coming. In fact, Kevin and I have been discussing it. Yes. A lot of exciting stuff in the WS form world. Continues to be the number one form plugin for WordPress by a long shot. It might be a good idea to list what happens if you don't get an oil change, like the car light notice, engine lights, poor driving performance. 100%. 100%. Okay. Let me go back down. They should be using WP Amelia instead of Traft, so it would be local to the install and keep all the branding on point. Yeah, that would be a much better option. Yeah, anytime you can use something that integrates with the WordPress install and doesn't have to be on a third-party domain, doesn't have to open in a new tab, can be integrated with other things like your CPTs and on and on and on. Way, way, way better to go that route. Free Wi-Fi and coffee. Exactly. Benefits to coming here, right? Or like wait in your car. Do you know how many, I love the oil change places where I pull into the bay and I literally turn the car off and I sit there and just do whatever I want on my phone in my own car. I don't have to get out. I don't have to walk to a waiting room. I sit and watch their stupid CNN or whatever they've got on and read their magazine that's 3 years out of date. I can just sit in my car and chill, right? And then they're done and they're like, hey, you're done. All right, here's my card, pay, drive off. Like, that's super easy. All right, let's see. Because the thing is, if it's going to be quick, let's just skip the whole waiting room thing. And in fact, let's skip I don't need coffee. I don't need Wi-Fi. I can be on my phone if this is only going to be 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm on my phone. I'll just sit in my car. That's the best possible experience. Okay, let's see. Kevin, do you not look at mobile? I mean, I do, but mobile for me is if there's so many things wrong on the desktop, I mean, we don't have to go look at the mobile. I would look at the mobile on the site that was really good that we did earlier. That would be worth checking out the mobile experience on, especially because there's a lot going on there too. Like there's those sliders and things like that. But we kind of ran out of time on that one. We looked at a bunch of other things instead. And by the way, I tend to look at things from top-down perspective. Copy is extremely important. It's probably the most important part of the website. Well, guess what? The copy is not going to magically get better on mobile. So if the copy sucks on desktop, we don't have to go check the mobile version. It's still going to suck on mobile. So I look at stuff that kind of is required in all areas. If a site's not accessible, it's not going to suddenly be accessible on mobile, right? There's a lot of things. It's just, mobile is did it break? It's still a good experience. But we're looking at a lot of the important stuff on desktop. The waiting room looks worse than the bad waiting room up above. Yeah. I want to grow my team, but most time I can do the job myself. What would be the best approach to slowly delegate? You seem to be, if you're asking that question, in a situation where you don't have a lot of volume of clients, right? There's people who are I want to get a team, but I can do the work myself. Well, you can't physically say that if you have, after a certain point of getting volume, there's going to be a point where you're just I can't handle all this work myself. I just can't do it. And you're forced to have a team. If you're kind of in that in-between area right now where it's I could start to build a team. I got some extra money, but I don't really need to because I can still handle all the work myself. That's actually the perfect time to start building a team. You don't want to get to the point where it's like, oh gosh, we have too much work. And now you're scrambling to build a team, because a team takes time to onboard and to get cohesiveness and get your processes all, like, everybody understands what needs to happen and what's going on and when we do what. That takes time. And so you don't want to start that process, which takes months, by the way, the day you realize you have an overflow problem. So I would say to do that now. Enjoying the new F4F, Frames for Figma. Sorry, I'm still learning our own acronyms. Frames for Figma app. How positive was the initial release window? It was extremely positive. We did 50% over what our goal was. And I was gone at WordCamp US for like 6 out of the 7 days of the launch. So it was really, really, really good. Very positive, very promising. We're excited about it. Okay, we already did this one. How's the ankle, Kevin? Does this mean our fight is called off? The ankle is, I can walk on it. I can jog on it. Can't run hard. Definitely can't sprint. Not even going to try. Is the fight called off? No, because I don't need an ankle in jiu-jitsu. I don't need my ankles. Don't need to stand. Nothing really involving the foot is going to be necessary. So all good. That only works without lifts and sunken bays. Yeah, true. Yeah, well, all the oil change places around my house anyway tend to have those sunken bays where, like, the workers are all underground. You just kind of drive up and they do their thing. How would you target the SEO when oil change had traffic potential of 800,000 and mobile oil change has 5,000, but you want to be more specific about the mobile portion of the business? Yeah, you target mobile. You target what you are. You target mobile. You can't say you're an oil change service as if you're the same as all these brick and mortars, right? So you really have to go after mobile oil change. Now, what you can do is I go PPC to target the general term of like oil change near me, because we do want to alert people to the fact that mobile oil change is an option, right? So I would probably do that with PPC and be able to control your budget and instantly come up for those terms. But with SEO, Google knows you're not a brick and mortar oil change business, so they're just probably not going to rank you. But they will rank you for mobile oil change because that's what you actually are. So that's where you use SEO to rank for what you actually are, and then you use PPC to try to inject yourself in the other conversation where people are just looking for generic oil changes near them. What are your thoughts on headless decoupled WP? I haven't looked a ton into it. Feels a little over-engineered is kind of my just, I guess, off-the-cuff opinion. The agency I work for uses Beaver Builder for everything. Are there any plans to integrate ACSS with Beaver Builder? No, because last time I checked, do I have a Beaver install? Let me see. Beaver. I don't have a Beaver install anymore. Last time I checked, they don't support variables and inputs. They're not a class-first builder. They allow you to add classes to elements, but I don't believe you can style classes that you add to elements. And they have bad DOM output. It's not clean code. So they just don't check the boxes for automatic CSS integration, unfortunately. I think we can go back to camera here. Okay, WP ACSS theme. Our goal is to have an FSE theme with custom blocks, and we will be playing in that field. How to do keyword research for web design services. Can someone like this be in the inner circle? Can something like this be in the inner circle? You use the same process that you use for everything else, but I will just tell you it's very, very difficult to rank for web design related stuff. Anything in SEO, web design, online marketing, I mean, you're more or less doing this work against other professionals who do this work daily, like constantly, and they're good at it, right? So you've got to be equally as good at it, and you have to be willing to put in the time and the resources. I mean, a lot of SEO is off site. It's not what you're doing on your website. It's what you're doing off of your website. You have to build brand status in your local area. You have to, which takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort. You've got to build backlinks. You've got to write a bunch of content. It's a major, major, major project. The more competition that is in the industry, the more work you're going to have to do. And for me, for a web design agency, it's not worth doing that work, honestly. Create the pages that need to be created and just go straight to PPC. Don't even worry about the SEO thing. Go straight to PPC and go straight to relationship building. You're going to build an agency far faster and far bigger and far better by putting all of your time and effort into building relationships in your local area than you are anything else. It's a relationships game, okay? And that's how you're going to get the big projects also. And that's how you're going to get projects easy. And that's how you're going to get contracts signed easily. It's a relationships game. You can sit at your computer all day. See, an introvert actually like me would much prefer it if we could just sit at our computer and just SEO the shit out of our website and just get all these like leads and projects. But that's just not how web design works anymore. If you want to build, it's counterintuitive, but if you want to build your web design agency faster and easier and bigger, you have to get the F out of your chair and walk outside and start shaking hands and talking to people. 100%. That will get you, the more time you spend away from your computer, the bigger your agency will be. The more time you spend sitting at your keyboard, the smaller your agency will be. That's just facts. Okay. So, and that's not what a lot of people want to hear, but that's facts. So I would do that like ASAP. Okay, let's see. Is it possible to attach a value to a relationship between custom post types? My use case, therapist CPT and service CPT, would love to have a price attached to each of their services. That would just be a custom field. So the services that a therapist offers, but hold on, are you building a directory of therapists? Because why would you need a therapist CPT and a services CPT? If it's a site for a therapist, you would just have their services, but are you building a directory of some sort? That's what I would need to know. When is the next PB 101 episode? Probably next week. I'm getting caught up on a bunch of stuff this week. Probably next week. We're almost done. There's only 3 or 4 episodes left. By the way, Tommy, hold the fort while you were gone. Make sure to congratulate him. Yeah, Tommy is doing a fantastic job. How do you create a relation between 2 CPTs? Class has students, display list of students on dedicated page. I can do everything that middle page. I have Bricks Builder, Jet Engine. I mean, I've shown that before. It's just general relationships. So it's just use 2 query loops. You query the main CPT, and then you query anything that's related to each item with the second loop. And it depends on if you're using Bricks or Oxygen. Like the process is going to be a little bit different, but that's the process. It's a nested query loop. If we miss the frames for Figma launch ongoing, is there another LTD window? Yeah, there will be another launch, but there is no date planned. We've got a lot of work to do to get it to where we want for the official launch. This was like the early launch, which we've done for all of our products, right? It's getting the early buy-in. And it's, the feedback has been phenomenal so far. We're going to build out the rest of the frames library. We've got some new features coming to ACSS tokens, which is really cool. And then we'll launch, but I don't have a date. So we just have to wait, which is why you should always buy in the first launch, right? So many people, it's like the launch closed. We did 50% more sales than we were targeting. But we're still getting people like, hey, can I still buy it? It's like, we just had the launch. What do you mean? Like, you should have bought it. Introvert like, I don't know about that. Introvert like you. Oh, are you saying You don't believe that I'm an introvert? I am what they call an ambivert. So I tend towards introversion, but if there's a situation that I'm excited about or very comfortable in or whatever, then I can be an extrovert. I'm a shapeshifter. I can go between. But I am very much like if I'm around a lot of people for too long, like I had at WordCamp, for example, I had to go back to my hotel room multiple times just to be alone for a minute, like just chill. Like, hey, can my ears stop? Like with all the stuff, talking to people for 12 hours, 14 hours, like very exhausting. My wife recharges in that situation. Like she loves that. She doesn't want to be alone. Okay, I'm the opposite. So that's what I feel is like my introversion side. It's like, I can't take that for very long. I've got to go recharge in, by myself. Okay, let's see. Sounds like therapist is the team member CPT. Okay. So it would be like a practice, multiple therapists, services, prices for each therapist. So when you create your therapist CPT, you just have a custom field for maybe their starting price. Because they probably have some therapists have a sliding scale, which makes things even more complicated. But if there was like a starting price that you wanted to publish, that's just a custom field attached to the therapist. And so when you query the therapist, you're just querying that data dynamically, their price. I'm doing a series right now in the Inner Circle, by the way, on how to build a custom event management system, just purely with custom post types, custom fields, all that stuff. We're on part 2 right now. Part 3 is coming soon. And a lot of this can just be translated to a lot of other CPT kind of work that you're going to do. Doesn't have to necessarily be events. But yeah, there's a lot that we've done in the Inner Circle on CPTs, nested CPTs, custom fields, dynamic data, on and on and on and on and on. I'm just struggling to pass the variable part of the parent CPT. I'm not quite sure what that means. Thank you. What if I want to focus on expats, English speaking in my country and foreign businesses, networking for sure, but I think that SEO can help here. No. Well, if you're in a different country, then the SEO outlook might be different. So you do want to look in your local area and see what the SEO outlook is for you. I'm speaking from a US perspective. Web design, SEO, online marketing in the United States, every major local area is absolutely on lockdown. Okay, these are brands that have been around for a very long time. They have high domain authority. They have tons of backlinks. They have tons of content published. You can't just say, I'm going to show up out of nowhere and outrank them. That's never going to happen ever. Doesn't matter how good you are at SEO. You've got to put in the work and you've got to put in the time. Google doesn't just instantly see a new domain and we're like, I don't know, these guys seem pretty good at SEO. Let's rank them. That's just not going to happen. So, like I said, you have to be willing to put in the time. And now we talk about trade-offs. Is the time better spent fighting that fight? Or is the time better spent walking outside and shaking hands and meeting people, building relationships, not just relationships with random people? Relationships, go find. I did a whole training in the Inner Circle, the 3 best places to get web design clients fast. One of them is online, PPC. That's it. The other 2, not online. You could outreach online, but it's even better if you go do it in person. But I would be shaking hands of graphic designers near you who don't do web design. They do graphic design, but not web design. Sign shops. Every freaking local business that opens up a physical location needs a sign on the outside of their building. Go make friends with all of the sign shops in your area that all these businesses are going to be going to and say, hey, here's my card. Everybody that comes to you is going to need a website. I'll give you a referral fee. Everybody you send to me, I'll send you a check, okay? Or just build a really good relationship with them and say, hey, I got a bunch of clients that are going to need signs. I'm going to make sure to tell them to come to you. If they need a website, tell them to come to me. Okay, that's it. And so there's a network right there that you're building. So you've got graphic designers, you've got branding people. Go meet all the branding people in your local area. Lots of them don't do websites. They do great logos, they don't do websites. Everybody that buys a logo, gonna need a website, okay? Get a relationship going with all these people. These are the people you need to go out and network with and meet because they will directly give you business. Okay. And then don't be afraid to give them business as well. The more business you give them, the more they're going to want to turn around and give back to you. So what I don't do, you aren't going to catch me dead walking into a local business going, hey, can I talk to your owner about a website? No, that's not what I'm talking about. Go make friends with all the people that the people you want to talk to, your actual clients, are going to go do business with, and then get them to refer you. Those are the kind of connections that you need to make. All right, let's see. Casey says, love the stream today. Glad that you liked it, Casey. Thank you for showing up. John C. says, every tutorial I see allows you to post related content on the same page as the parent, but I haven't been able to build an index based on the parent CPT because I can't pass the variable. I mean, we could just do this real quick. I don't know if I'm missing something because it's fairly basic what you're asking. Let's go. Well, here's the events. I mean, here's what we've been building. Is this the right? I don't even know. This isn't the right install. Hold on. Let me bring up the events install. So here's an event CPT. Imagine that this is therapists, okay? So I open a therapist. Dave Chappelle's our therapist, right? Here's a price right here, free or paid, okay? And then if it's paid, you're going to have a starting price, okay? And so what this looks like on the front end, we go here, we can see our grid. And this is what we've been learning how to build in the inner circle, by the way. So if you're not in the inner circle, you're interested, this is just one series. It's the current series that we're on. With a custom event system. So we've got these nice cards. Part 2 was how to build a grid switcher, right? So we go from list to grid view. Notice the cards. What are the cards doing when you switch to a grid view? They're actually changing their layout. It's not just we put the same cards in a grid. And by the way, I will tell you, these are not duplicated. This is not a duplicated grid. These are the exact same cards. There's only one copy of every card. I know a lot of people would take the approach of, I need a grid that looks like this, and I need a grid that looks like this, and then I'll switch between the two. But that's not the approach. These are the exact same cards. There's only one copy. There's only one loop, okay? So we learned how to do this switcher right here. All the sorting and filtering, live search, sorting by date. We're hiding dates that have happened in the past. We're only showing dates that are in the future. We just added support for multi-day events. We did a custom event landing page, which this is just the start of it. But see, here is an example where the price of the event is just simply pulled from the custom field. Okay, my alarm's going off, so we have our hard stop. We're going to go ahead and call this until next time, but I'll just finish this up real quick. We can sort and filter, but we can also put the price on. Notice the price is on the actual card itself. So if we want to look at this from a structural standpoint, we've got our grid right here. Here's your one loop. The loop is on the list item. So this is an unordered list with list items. We have an article card inside of our list items. And then inside of this, so this is the loop, which means anything in here can reference dynamic data, right? So I'm going to click on this, open the events meta. Here's the price wrapper. I have two prices, okay? One is free and one is the actual price. And then I have a condition on here that basically says, if we open this up, if the event type equals free, then we're going to show the free badge. And then this one says, if the event type does not equal free, we're going to show the price, whatever's in the price field. And so if we turn off this condition, we can see right here, we're just using ACF event starting price is the dynamic data, which means it's going to pull that direct from the custom field that is on that post. Oh gosh. Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Screen share. Okay. There's got to be one every WDD live. There's got to be one look, a non-look. We got to look at something that's not there once every WDD live. Okay. So here we go. I'll go back. Let me show you the grid switcher because that is, I really like my grid switcher here. So here's your grid switcher. Again, those are the same card, one loop, new layout when you switch to the grid format. Okay. Got all your facets over here, number of events, yada, yada, yada. Okay. So I was showing the structure of this card. Here's your LI. This is the loop. See that little symbol? If you're in bricks right here, that lets you know that's where the loop is. So we're looping the list items, not the cards. Very important. Here's the card right here. What would happen if you looped the card? If you loop the card, you're going to get a bunch of cards in one list item. Wrong, right? What? Oh, I don't have my audio. Darn. I was going to actually have Kevin Hart do his laugh, but it's not hooked up right now. So you want to make sure always loop the list item, loop the thing that you need multiple of. You need multiple list items in a list. So we're looping that. And we have the event card inside of that. And then here's the price options where we have the conditions attached to each one. So if the price is free, we show the free badge. If there's no free, then we show the actual price. So again, it's one loop, and then it's just custom fields, dynamic data. Here's the field right here. Here's Dave Chappelle. You can choose whether this is a single day event or a multi-day event. You can do the event start date. You can do start time, end time, the time zone. Here's your free paid toggle right here. Conditional logic. So if it's free, the price field goes away. If it's paid, the price field shows up. You have your event description that goes on your cards. It's all very, very, very basic. So if this was your therapist, you could have just custom fields for anything related to this therapist. And then anytime you query your therapists, you instantly have access to all those fields with dynamic data just easily in bricks. Anything that has a lightning bolt on it. So if I touch here, see the little lightning bolt? Anything that has the lightning bolt can be pulled in with dynamic data from custom fields. This is pretty much as basic as the loop gets. So if you've looped your therapist and you can't get dynamic data to work for some reason, that's when you go into the inner circle, you post a link to your site and say, hey, I can't get dynamic data to work here. And about a dozen people are going to help you. Okay. They're going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to tell you exactly what's wrong. If not me, I mean, I could jump in and tell you, but half the time, like by the time I see a post, 6 other people have already helped the person. So it's, that alone is worth being in the inner circle. But this is we haven't done anything. The only advanced stuff here that we've done with this event system, some people consider, but the facets, some people consider to be advanced, but honestly, WP Grid Builder does so much work for you out of the box on this. It's just too easy. It's too easy. I don't consider that to be advanced. This grid switcher you could probably consider to be advanced. And then the tricky part here is not showing past events. That is a little bit tricky. And so I walk through exactly how to do that to make sure that you're actually showing relevant things in the grid. And that's pretty much it. All right, let's see. D123 says yummy. That's a sexy grid there. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I just whipped it up. I mean, I kept it it's all gray, so it doesn't even really have any color. I hate the badge that we put on here. It's just temporary stuff. It's really focusing on functionality more than anything else. But I did want to show, a lot of people want to know, how do you zoom when you hover the card? We're using clickable parent on the cards. So when you hover the card, how do you get the image to zoom in the background? And that's a real image, not a background image. All the stuff we typically teach, we BEMified this, we made it accessible, right? So you're going to get proper, look at this, the grid switcher. Guys, keyboard on this, right? This is straight out of Bricks, by the way. No code was written for this grid switcher. This uses Bricks' interactions feature. Is the grid switcher done via WP Grid Builder? No, 100% custom. I show you how to use what we do. If you want to know the sauce, okay, we'll just do the sauce real quick and then I got to go. So this right here, this list of cards is a 1-column grid. This is a 2-column grid. Well, we define the grid with a grid template columns. It looks like, let me just show you. Probably the easiest thing to do. Let me zoom in here as well. So I'm going to grab my 1-column grid, events grid main, and it uses a custom grid template columns function. So normally I'll just grab this right here. See, if I say repeat 1, min max 0, 1 FR, then it's going to be a 1-column grid. Now watch this. If I make this 1 a 2, it turns into a 2-column grid. Now, the magic of changing this uses container queries. Container queries are responsible for changing the layout of the card when the container size changes, okay? But to switch it from 1 to 2 just requires changing that number. So what we do is we tokenize that number. So I tokenize it with a variable called column count. And then you can actually use a fallback on locally scoped variable. So if this is undefined, right? Column count by default has no value. It's undefined. So I give it a default value of 1. That way, when the page is rendered, it renders it based on a 1-column layout. But then what I can do is I can go up here and I can create our little icons, okay? Which have hidden accessibility text, by the way. And this icon right here has you can see this little thing that says interaction, right? So that has a bricks interaction on it. So on click, I'm gonna set an attribute, which is an inline style, and I'm basically just gonna redefine the value of the column count variable to 2 on click, right? So I'm setting the attribute style column count is gonna be 2, and then I'm targeting the events grid main with that selector, with that logic, okay? So if we inspect this, and here's events grid main right here. Okay, let me scroll down here. See it highlighted? That's events grid main. Notice it has no inline style tag on it. It's getting its grid instruction from right here. Repeat column count 1. Look at column count as grayed out because column count, again, has no value, but the 1 is the default, is picking it up and it's making a 1-column grid properly, okay? Now watch what happens to this HTML right here when I click this button. See how it now magically has a style tag of the variable column count being redefined to a value of 2, and it puts it right here in the element style. And now the grid renders as a 2-column grid because it's been changed. Now when I click this one does the same exact logic, but it just changes the value of column count back to 1. And they just go back and forth. They just change from 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2, 1 to 2. And then a container query is responsible for monitoring the size of the container that this card is in. And when the size of that container is below a certain value, I think it's 640 pixels in this case, it switches the card from a grid layout to a flex column layout. And that's pretty much it. And again, I do that step by step in the tutorial. Like I walk you through every single piece of building that from scratch. But yeah, you don't need, this is not facets. You don't need, this is vanilla bricks out of the box. You don't even have to write any JavaScript, which is fantastic. All right, guys. I got a hard stop. I'm out. Thank you for being here today. This was a fantastic WDD live to get back to after a couple weeks of being off. I'm here every single Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. If you want to know, all the things about making a successful website, first critiquing other sites and then doing Q&A and AMA, this is the place to be. Love you guys. I am out. Peace.